How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Good
Abs-
something to do right now.
How are you doing, man? How are you doing physically and more than that? How about mentally and through all this corona effect in the month of April?
Yeah, month of April is not what we thought it'd be, but I'm doing good, man. Physically, it's tough to lose weight when you can't train MMA, but I've been working out every day, and getting in pretty good shape.
Nice.
Feeling good. We just don't know when this is going to end, man. So we're all kind of on standby, and we're all unemployed as well. So.
Right, right. One thing too, I checked your Instagram handle and I went on. I'm a family man. I'm a father of four, and I have two boys and two girls. And my second son, he's like almost about to turn 3. His name is Dylan. I swear, I showed my wife this, and my wife doesn't care about MMA or UFC. My son Dylan looks exactly like your son. They could be brothers. It's amazing. The hair, their facisms. How old's your son?
He's almost 2. He'll be
Oh,
2 next month. Yeah.
Nick,
So just redheaded spark
right,
plug pistol.
right.
That's him, man. So
That's my we train here in town in a little boxing gym, and he's in there all the time. He just wants to wrestle. He's already throwing the jab. It's so funny.
uh,
And that's the hard part. Me, I could be okay. All my kids, they're done with this. They want to continue their lives. They don't know what to do.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I think he kind of liked going to school. He had a bunch of friends there and stuff like that, and he'll ask about them every now and then. But um, I think he enjoys the time at home, but I think he gets bored too because he's just. I mean, he's like. He's always needs constant entertainment. I don't know if we can give him as much entertainment as the other kids can, but if your son is anything like he is, or vice versa, then you got your
Yep.
hands full just with one.
I know. And the other two are twin girls that are 3 months old. So we're busy here at the Van Auken house for sure. But my man, I almost talked to you right before your fight in February. Jim Miller, UFC vet, and I talked to my man Impa Kasanganai. Been on the show multiple times in your corner, and he was very impressed. And everything I heard from him and some other people, one was Taylor Jenkins, they were saying like you were upset that you didn't get the finish. You felt like a little bit, just not upset, but just you really didn't feel like it was your best performance. But a guy like Jim Miller, been in the octagon a long time. It's just look back at it now, 2 months. Are you happy? Do you feel a little bit more satisfied that you just got the win and you can keep on moving up?
Uh, no, I wish I could say yes. I
Okay.
wish I could say yes, but when you step back from it, it's pretty special to beat him, to have a win against him. But I just don't think it was my best fight. And obviously he's pretty good, right? Like
Yes, sir. Yes,
he's
sir.
he's fought everybody and done really well. I wasn't happy with the fight. I thought there were some things that I could control, that I could have done better, that I focused on and wanted to do well, that I didn't do well. But anytime you can beat him, who's arguably a Hall of Famer, it's
Right.
a good night at the office, and to get fight of the night too is big too. But I probably, what I've realized by now, and I think a lot of high level athletes are the same way, is I'll never be happy. So
Right.
you just got to look for some of the positive and move on to the next one. You're only good as your last fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seems like Tom Brady, winning the Super Bowl, he's already back week later in the gym. Like, man, I threw an interception late in the year that I shouldn't have. So I totally get that. That speaks high volumes of you. That 7-3 in the UFC. You're not sitting there at 7-3 like loving it. You want 10-0. You know what I mean? You want more. I know there's not a lot right now with the Corona. You said everything's on pause in a way. But when we get picked back up and we talk about island fights of UFC soon and UFC 249, we'll talk about that in a second. What are you feeling good? Are you feeling healthy? When do you want to get back into that octagon?
Yeah, I'm feeling healthy. I'm ready to go. I think if supposedly from what I'm hearing, they're going to start rolling these events
Right.
in mid April, and if they do, I'll be in line to fight. I think obviously you can't have a big get together, but the gym I train out of now, we're kind of a smaller group, so I think it plays into our favor. So as long as I can get a couple training partners, I know Imp will be down. He's always down to help me train. He's a great training partner.
Yes, sir.
And I can't wait to see him in the UFC himself. And then Dylan Calla, he's definitely a UFC caliber talent. He's one of my main training partners. So I know those guys will be down for me. They always got my back. So wherever it is and whenever we'll be there. I wouldn't mind being on an island. My wife's already got her swimsuit packed, so we're ready to go.
I love that, man. Yeah, I saw Impa actually was working out cardio today. He was sweating all over his Instagram, getting ready, and he threw it out there too. He was in the LFA main event. Of course, that got canceled. It looks like he won the Contender Series last year. He's a pretty locked-in guy for being a contender this year. With all these fights coming up and maybe a little short notice fights, Impa is one of those guys that could get one. Maybe you two guys on the same card. You never know. And everything I've been hearing too is that they will. A fight every Saturday night. They know that all the sports are canceled. The UFC will get all the eyes on it. A lot of ESPN Plus shows. I think that'd be really good for a ton of fighters out there. I'm all good for more fighters getting more fights, right?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because times right now, you have to be careful. You got to look out for yourself, number one, and family and people around you. So, is it worth going to fight to risk all that and potentially bringing back a coronavirus, so on and so forth, a million possibilities, but, we're not getting paid either. And so you can knock Dana White all you want, but I know obviously there's some bread in there for him to put on fights, but he's also trying to get us some paychecks. So if you're hard up, there's going to be some opportunities there probably, unless it comes down from the government. But Dana White seems to think that he's got more power than the government. So if he starts rolling, I'll ride those coattails.
Right. He seems he has friends in the right places. I guess the island thing is working out. That's things I've been hearing too, that it makes sense. The government or the commission, all that, they're okay with it. It feels like all the fighters, coaches, referees are going to this one island. You're all going to get tested, and boom, if you have it, you get kicked off the island. It's like the show Survivor. If you don't have it, you train and you fight that Saturday night. But so we talked about the island a little bit. How about UFC 249, the lightweight interim title, something that you should definitely be watching, not even as a lightweight yourself, but just a fan. Gaethje and Tony Ferg. What's your first take on that fight happening?
It's incredible. Obviously, that's number one fight that all fans would love and you should love. What I hate about it is, Justin Gaethje doesn't come in with a full arsenal. He hadn't been training. He's got no training partners. Tony Ferguson's been training all along. He's had a fight. He's
right.
Obviously, he doesn't. He's a weird guy, so he doesn't use training partners or I don't know what he does. But Gaethje he's not in shape. You can't be in UFC level shape in 2 weeks and lose weight and train at a high level and do all your conditioning. You just can't do that. So I just hate it for Gaethje that he doesn't have a full camp for this fight because the fans are who are going to win here, and obviously he's going to put his body on the line for it. I just wish he had a full training camp. So.
Right, and I'm agreeing with you too there, Scott. 100% agree. And one thing I heard, and it's actually not a bad angle. I don't know if I think this way, but I did hear this was someone threw out there that maybe Gaethje should be in a little bit more better shape. Khabib and Tony Ferguson, we are never going to see it. We are not meant to see it, right? This is the 5th time it's failed, and everyone thought Gaethje or maybe Conor, but especially Gaethje was kind of on deck. And some people were like, hey, Gaethje, we thought that you would kind of be ready for this opportunity. Do you see it that way, or is that is that kind of bullcrap? And the man's not set to fight one of the best lightweights in the history on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, I mean that's the fine line that the fans walk, where they think they know how what we go through and what it takes to be prepared for a UFC fight. You can't just train for a couple weeks or if you don't have a fight and the coronavirus is going on and you're on lockdown, you can't go into the gym and casually wrestle or hit the bag. So, and even if you don't have a fight schedule, you can't just stay in fight shape all the time. Your body can't handle that. And it's very hard. You have to, go through these long peak at the right time and you have to come back down. I mean, So it's not easy to do, and if you don't know whether you're going to get paid or not, or you don't have a fight on the books, it's hard to do that, and especially when we're all under quarantine. So you can't knock the guy for not being ready to fight. I'm not ready to fight either. So
Right,
you
right.
could
No,
arguably
I'm
say that any top 10 lightweight should be ready to go. So
right. No, I'm agreeing with you on that one. I heard that angle and I was like, it's just not that easy. It's not a summer month. You know what I mean? It's not just that life is not normal right now. Everyone's life is different. People are working at home. Schools are closed. It's a very odd time. But one thing I saw on that was about you that I was really interested. All your fights before the UFC. So you're 7-3 in the UFC, so 10 fights, and then every fight before that was XFC, right? Have you only fought for two organizations as a pro?
I fought, I think, 6 fights for the XFC and 1 fight
Oh,
for a local
oh,
Knoxville organization. Yeah, but pretty much all through the XFC. I was really lucky. I
right.
I won this amateur tournament and it gave me an opportunity to be on an XFC undercard. So I got on the undercard and did really well, and they offered me a contract. So they kind of kept me. They kept me the whole time, and I ended up, getting their belt and everything like that. So they did a good job. It was a good stepping stone into the UFC because at the time they were on Access TV and
Right.
competing with RFA at the time on the Friday night circuit. So ended up, I've made some good moves in my career and also had some good luck and good timing too. And I think that's what it takes, to get to the top. So I've been fortunate.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. Very happy for you, you and your family and all that. One of the last questions for you. I got a fun question towards the end.
Yep.
Um, so you think we're talking about, you feeling good and feeling healthy. Is there something if they call your number, like they said, if they do fight after fight after fight, you think you can be ready May or is it June? When is it, when would you want to get back in the cage? And can you throw me out 2 or 3 guys that you would love to kind of get into? You think, what top 15, top 12 in that range? You got to be in that talk, right?
Yeah, we're looking anywhere from 10 to 18 really. But I'd like to have somebody in the rankings. The problem, I mean, obviously we're not fighting right now, but I could be ready to go in 4 to 6 weeks if they call. And a lot of people before this, a lot of people in the top 15 were kind of tied up, so we had trouble with that. But I know that there are a few guys out there that we're maybe trying to get, but I'm not sure if they're available right yet or what's going to happen. So we'll keep it close to the chest for now.
Absolutely, man. We'll be very excited for you. Like you're definitely a great watch. The fans love you. We love you here at Fight Bananas. So we can't wait to see you back in the octagon. Guys, we're talking to Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman. Find him at Hot Sauce Holtzy on IG. And one of the pictures on the Instagram that I love, I want to talk about this, is you had lunch with the Knox County Mayor, Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane. My man, we have a wrestling podcast underneath our banner. We just watched WrestleMania
Oh.
last weekend. My man, we're big fans of it. How was that? Or have you been a fan of him? Have you known him in the wrestling circuit? Or, how did that lunch come to be?
He's from Sevierville, so and he was an MMA fan too. Before he was mayor, when he was retired from wrestling, he used to come to some of the events. So he's been to maybe an XFC event, and then I saw him at a couple local amateur events. But we've kind of kept in touch. Another friend of mine is kind of his right hand man, so he's a super nice guy. He's doing a lot of good things here in Knox County, so it's been fun to kind of get to know him more. And I went to Friday night, the Friday night event when wrestling came to Knoxville, and my wife is also friends with Becky Lynch, so she gave us
What?
some tickets. Yeah, she gave us some tickets, and we went over there. She's real nice too, and he came out and choke slammed some people, man. It was awesome. So that was my first live wrestling event. I had a lot of fun, so I'll probably go back if they come again next year.
Very cool. Hey, that's something your son can watch. I have a
Yeah,
7-year-old. He loves it. He loves the Undertaker, which his Kane's brother and on WWE. That's old school stuff. But yeah, it's
yeah.
really cool. Saw the picture, and I've been hearing the same things too. That Glenn Jacobs, outside of wrestling, one of the most intelligent men. Got his ducks in a row and is doing a lot of great things for the community, and that's awesome to hear.
Yep. Yeah, he's done some great stuff. So I'll be excited to see some of the things he does in the future, and hopefully see him wrestle again.
Very cool, Scott. Man, the appreciate your time. It's a weird time right now, middle of April with the Corona effect. But any kind of plugs or sponsors, if you want to keep on pushing, or the gym, or anyone, a small local business you want to prop up, the floor is yours. Appreciate it.
No, just Jim O. I know you do a good job taking care of those guys. I appreciate that. A lot of talent coming out of there. Uncle Jeff's doing a good job.
Love
Um,
that. Love it.
yeah, and then my gym here in Knoxville, Shield Systems. So, hey, thanks for having me on, man. Anytime, give me a little more heads up this time on fight week, and we'll set something up.
Will do, man. I appreciate you very much. Have a good one, Scott.
You
Stay
too.
safe.
Yep. Bye.